There are places you go to as well as steps you take towards certain directions and spaces you find yourself in where you genuinely feel like you don't belong. Hey everyone, welcome to this video. I'm very much obliged to have you here. Thank you for being here. In today's video, let's talk about how I recently attended a rebirthful event, and while I was supposed to be super excited about it, the weeks leading up to it were increasingly intimidating, mixed with little joys within. I'd hoped for this opportunity to come my way, and when it finally did, I pondered in my heart whether it was really necessary. It's actually easier to prepare for the occasion and preempt the possible flow of events so that you're prepared for what may come. So that's exactly what I did. I planned to plan, then actually planned. Everything outside was actually right on schedule on my end. I'd never been to the hotel the event was being held at, neither had I seen it in my passing around the area. So I even planned to go early as was required of us, so that I was early enough to get lost, then find my way and still make it in time. And I thought that was a really good plan because it actually worked out for my good. So from my experience, being early takes away so many last minute pressures. I highly recommend it, especially when you're going to a place for the first time. So that was my end of the plan, and the entire day from God's end seemed lovely and sure from the time I woke up. In fact, that morning I actually woke up and peace felt encamped around me. Like, how a tent can be pitched over something. That's how peace felt around me that morning when I woke up. So I got to the beautiful venue. It's a really beautiful hotel that I was glad to get the opportunity to go and be, what's the word for it? To be acquainted with it, if that's a word for a place. So allow me to take you back a bit to when the time I got off the bus at the bus stop, crossed over alone and navigated through the familiar area in search for this wonderful venue. I had two active thoughts at that moment. The first one was the memory from Google Maps from the previous night as I was looking up this location, and the major thought that told me, wait, you're in a really tranquil ambience. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You don't belong here. This is new. What are you doing here? Did you get off at the wrong bus stop? Basically. And when I got to the hotel and noticed the guards at the gate, they spoke a different lingo from the guards in most places in my country. That tells you the kind of guests they receive. And the entire waiting time since I got to the venue, I registered and then escorted myself to the area where there was no one sitting. Literally, when I got there, I just surveyed the place and I noticed there was a section of the pool where there were people already seated, and there was a section that literally had no one because it had rained the previous night, and so the cleaners were still drying the places for seating. And I was like, the second I finish here, I am running to that section. So that's what I did. I went and sat at that area. I didn't even mind having to clean my own seat. So I cleaned a seat and then moved aside so that I wasn't obstructing the cleaners, and I just secluded myself like that. I sat alone, played with my jigsaw puzzles to steady my inner self, and looked the other way if someone I know was in view. So on the outside, I definitely looked still and reserved and, just chilling over there. But inside, I wrestled with many voices that I discovered were real. I battled to win against the thoughts that made me feel small. I warred on the battlefield in my mind to counter the negative thoughts with exactly what Philippians 4:8 says. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. As a child of God, I had to silence the stronghold by taking those thoughts captive and making them obedient to Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Because the truth is, though I was alone for a while there, I was actually surrounded by heaven. In the kingdom, masses cheered for me and others for the transformation we were about to experience. I sat alone in the midst of those in the land that looked like giants, and my Father in heaven reminded me there's no good thing on earth that doesn't belong to Him. And that if I knew who I was with, I'd know how I'm royalty in this earth. Whatever blessing they have was given by my Father in heaven, who I belong to. So in essence, I belong to the family that gives that wealth to the wealthy. And even some of those I thought were more wealthy are in our family. I'm telling you, I now began to sit like the daughter of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I literally had to adjust my sitting position, I told myself, I am rich, I am wealthy, I come from abundance, and when I'm in Christ, what is the Father's is also mine. Reminding me of the story of the prodigal son. I was like the brother, And none of this is just for me. It's for all of us who belong to Him. It's our promise and our inheritance. It's our blessing to receive and enjoy and use for His purposes. Why do I consider myself as being like the brother to the prodigal son? It's because I needed to be told by the Father that, my son, you're with me. Everything I have is also yours. Whatever is mine is yours. That's what our Father in heaven was reminding me at that moment. Because, I could speak the lingo of the place I was in. For all I know, the guards at the gate probably greeted me like that because I looked the type. And I am. I am because He is. So this is for anyone who's dealt with imposter syndrome before. Say no to imposter syndrome, because it's not that you don't belong. You belong. If God set your feet there, then He's qualified you for there. And His word says that every place that the sole of your foot shall tread, I have given you as I promised Moses.